because I had Chris Paul. Chris Paul was because I had Chris Paul and Harden together, but in this game they don't play well together.
Really?
Yeah. Lonzo Ball be scooping like to Harden, bro. Like, boop, boop. Like how? Like, boop, boop.
Mic check.
1 2 1 2. Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana. That's like that white girl. This is like the white girl on the bot video.
All right, well set.
We're rolling. What's up, guys? David Nussbaum at Wheels Boutique here. So we wanted to do a video a little bit different than what we usually do. It's the end of the year, obviously, so we wanted to do a year in review video where we select one of the better builds from each month and kind of review everything. And so I thought it was a good idea to have my buddy Eddie here, because clearly Eddie and I are two different people, two different opinions, and so we thought it would be a really cool idea to kind of just go over some of the builds and get the opinion from both of us on them. So we'll start off with January. So for January, we had a F250 Ford, and we did some HRE HD 188 wheels, and we did a Carli lift suspension 4.5-inch lift kit. Not a lot of people know that HRE offers this wheel for trucks like the Ford F250 Super Duty. It's an 8-lug. We did a 22-inch sizing, and so this sort of build, a lot of people, again, don't know that we do big trucks like this, and it's a big surprise to people. So Eddie, what do you think about this? Because I know that you have a bagged Lexus, and so this is the total opposite end of the spectrum for you. What do you think about this truck here?
I like it though. I like it because the wheels first complement the truck. You know what I mean? One, it's a one-off wheel. Like I think one other person bought those wheels or something like that.
Yep.
In that year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it's a cool build. I like that one. Would I ever drive it?
Would you ever drive a lifted truck? No, not for you?
Not for me. Not for me at all.
But
it's nice. I really like that.
Would you bag a truck?
Yeah, all day. HRE needs to make some fitments for bag trucks. Heard?
Let's go. HRE, if you're listening, let's do it. So we're going to jump over to February for this one now. So let's see what we got for February. Let me open this up here. Okay, so February we have the Ferrari 812 Superfast on HRE P101s. Now, the reason that I chose this one is because this Ferrari belongs to a very special customer in Colombia called J Balvin, a very popular Hispanic artist. Down here in Miami, everybody knows J Balvin. A lot of people in the US now and internationally know his music as well. So he approached us. We worked with a company down there in Colombia called Unique Car Company. And so this is the Frozen Brush Champagne. Now this was a new finish at the time, early in February, that HRE offered. It's not a gold, it's not a bronze, it's somewhere in between. And it looks absolutely spectacular on this car. You got 21-inch front, 22-inch rears. It allows it to have much wider tires than what comes from factory, which you need on this car. I mean, this car is pushing 700 horsepower from the V12. I think it needs a little bit of drop. I think that Eddie would agree with me on that. Maybe with some Novitec springs.
Yeah, a little lower. It'd be right on point. But it's a Ferrari at the end of the day. It's a beautiful car on HREs. So.
Exactly. If you're driving this in Colombia, I mean, people know what's going on.
People know who you are.
People know who you are. Again, this photo shoot, this car's in Colombia, so this is actually at a very spectacular house down there in Colombia. I mean, this is a great fitment. Again, I would do the Novitec springs maybe on this, but the streets may not be as good as they are down here in South Florida, so it might make a little bit more sense to have it on the stock ride height.
But the color combo works too.
Yeah, the champagne with the white. I mean, with white, it's a blank canvas. You could do everything on that. You could do gloss white if you want to be crazy. You could do black wheels, red, gold, champagne. I mean, you name it. It pretty much goes with any white car. So if you have a white car, you can get away with a lot. We're gonna move down to March here. So for March, we have our McLaren 720S that we did with the twin turbo upgrades, downpipes tune. It was the first 720S in the world to get below 9 seconds in the quarter mile. We had some lightweight Anarchy wheels, the AN11s here, 19-inch setup. So we could do some Toyos as well, 20s in the back, of course. And this car was absolutely ridiculously fast. The pure turbo upgrade kit. I mean, you name it, it had everything. It had the Velocity AP exhaust and downpipes. It's got the DME tune. So we pulled out all the stops for this. It took us a lot of different runs. These photos here are from the half-mile run that it had. Not the quarter-mile record run, but what do you think about this, Eddie?
That was a bad A-double-S build.
You say badass?
Badass build.
You say
You know what I mean? I know the guy personally. This car right here was definitely one of my favorites. So for it to hit the what is it, the 2019 top of Wheels Boutique, that's super dope right there. That's it's a dope McLaren S720S, and anybody out there who says they're faster, I would like to see it.
So shout out to Monstro Toys. That's the owner of this car, or he was the owner. He got rid of it since then. We've jumped over to a 600 LT Spider to see if we can break some world records with that. But yeah, I actually was never able to be in the passenger seat or the driver's seat of this car. But knowing the owner, he's badass, he's wild, he's crazy. So this thing, I mean, you've got to have a lot of intestinal fortitude to be able to drive this down the quarter mile and do under 9 seconds. So
for all you guys out there, I think he's trying to say cojones.
In Spanish, we call it cojones. So let's jump over down to April. April, of course. You can see Eddie's face.
Good old car.
The Bugatti Chiron on Anarchy AN13s in red. This actual photo shoot was done here in our new facility that we moved into this year. Obviously, you don't see any lifts in the photos. That's because that was the transitioning phase from the previous customers. We bought the building and then we completely renovated it. But this was the perfect setting for this photo shoot here. I mean, this car speaks for itself. You know, over 1,000 horsepower, over 1,500 horsepower, I think it is. 4 turbos. You've got the directional brushed red Anarchy AN13s that are lightweight. It does a lot for the car. If you see the stock wheels look very nice on these cars, but the offsets on them are very, very weak, even on a supercar or hypercar like this, where the wheels are tucked in. And with the Anarchies, we definitely fixed that.
Yeah, that was definitely a sweet set of wheels right there. The red bottoms.
The red bottoms.
The red bottoms.
There are some photos on here where you see under the wing where it's also red. I think we
got the trim, the carbon red.
Yep. Which, you know, these cars, when you're spending $3 million on this car, you can spec out everything that you could possibly think of. And the color for the underwing was one of those. We knew in advance that we were going to do some red Anarchy wheels, so we made sure to have the interior tied together and also the underside of the wing. Were you able to drive this one?
Me drive that? Yeah, right. I don't even have collateral to drive that.
They let us drive this with the valet key, which only gives it, you know, 700-800 horsepower only, right? But that's one of the cars that we have. You know, a lot of people come to the shop here and ask us if it's here. We have to keep it a secret where it's at. Sometimes on our secret hangar. Other times it is here doing some different work. Like we did a wheel swap later in the year to some bronze wheels. But for the most part, a lot of people with their kids come to the showroom here looking for that car. So let's jump into May. Now May, we have a BMW F90 M5, and the reason that we picked this car is because there was nothing that was untouched on this car. We did the wheels, the suspension, the tuning, the turbo upgrades, the Keller downpipes. So it's the whole nine. It's basically, you want to send your car down to us. We do everything that you want, including the, what do you call this wrap here? Stealth?
Satin blacks, the stealth, the stealth PPF. That's what they're doing.
Stealth PPF. You got, again, the champagne colored wheels on a black car. I love the champagne finish. Again, it's a new finish that HRE offered and Anarchy picked up as well. It works well on white cars, on black cars. And so this is the Anarchy AN38. This car, I think it was pushing about 700 or 800 horsepower to the wheels after all the upgrades. As I mentioned, there was the Keller downpipes, the Pure Turbo upgrade kit, the DME tune. We did KW height adjustable springs to get that fitment going. And believe it or not, A lot of people don't realize that these are 22s on this car.
Yeah, because the tires are so small.
Yeah,
but it's good.
exactly. On these cars, you'll tell somebody, hey, we've done 22s on M5, and they, you know, they go crazy. Oh, it doesn't look good.
Mind blown.
But then when you don't tell them that they're 22s and they see the car, they're like, hey, I want to replicate the same exact fitment, and we tell them it's 22s, and they're shocked. We could typically do a 21 inch on this car or a 20.
21 is nice, but
What do you
doesn't fit as good as a 22 does.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why that M5 made top 5.
I agree. So this is another one, show and go. Fast, looks good, beautiful. It's definitely not a sleeper anymore. A lot of people complain that these cars look like sleeper cars, so we fixed that real quick. Then we're getting into the summer months here in Miami in June, where it rains a ton, so you kind of need some SUVs going on. And we have the brand new W463 G63. So that's the brand new 2019 G63s. We've got this customer here that did some Brabus pieces with the lights up on the roof. You've got the Brabus carbon hood on Anarchy AN20 wheels. How do you feel about the new G-Wagons?
They all look the same, but the interior on this one, I definitely fell in love with it. The interior is something else.
Yeah.
The wheels, the whole kit that he did to this car, he definitely stepped it up a notch with this G-Wagon. It's definitely one of a kind.
It is one of a kind, and to Eddie's point, they do look like the old models, but once you get inside, once you drive it for a weekend, it's night and day. It's a definite improvement on the overall vehicle that Mercedes did. If you've seen our builds in the past, we custom developed a lift kit for the old school G-Wagon. We're trying to do the same with these. The problem is that Mercedes revamped the suspension entirely, which is good because that old G-Wagon had the same suspension for, you know, decades pretty much. And this one here, we're trying to develop something so we can do the big lift kit that a lot of the old customers would like to do.
With the wide 375 tires.
Exactly, with a crazy 375 tires. This actual vehicle came back recently to do a little bit more Brabus pieces. So I think he got the rear tire spare cover. He got some stuff done with the drop steps. So a lot of modifications we can do with this. Even Brabus offers interior work with different stitching, different colors. So if you want to have a truly one-of-one G63, you can do that. You just have to give us a call and we can set that up for you.
Let's 2019 go out with a bang, baby.